So Hitler would wake up with just all these nightmares, and he would be counting in his sleep for some reason, and people wonder if maybe he was counting the 32 times he got hit. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is against child abuse. Article 5, no one should be subject to torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. You have a right to security, including all children, whether born in or out of wedlock, shall also be protected. There's just going to actually cover some of these pop culture references. And just go off at the top of my head some of this other stuff with things that I know. So there is a total legal ban on spankings in all settings. It is passed by 33 nations in Europe, Latin America, and Africa. Soon to be 34 when Brazil becomes the largest country to outlaw spanking, and final action expected this year. 33 countries have outlawed spanking. No violence against a child, an innocent kid. And that's the way it should be. Anybody should be able to raise a child without having to hit him. And it should hurt you. It should devastate you to be able to hit something. If you love that thing, I remember getting into, the guy just hit me out of nowhere. I have no idea why he had hit me. And I just remember crying because I was so broken up. Why did he want to hurt me? What did I do on this planet that he wanted to physically hurt me? Why is that so important for this man to want to do that? I didn't understand, so I just started crying. And that's exactly how, doing to others, you have them doing to you. You're going to hit a child. Of course they're going to get mad. They're going to cry about it. They're not just, sad about the pain that you actually inflicted on them, but they're hurt. Their feelings are hurt. And the way actually trust, one of the biggest lessons I'm learning from the Spalding University is the best way to get a child, a young person to do what you want them to do is to build trust up with them. When a young person trusts an adult, they just want to do good by them. Just because they like them, and they don't want to, for them to be viewed as a disappointment in their eyes. So just build up trust is all you need. If you really need to control your kid, you have to control them, right? You have to manipulate them and get in their head and say, go this way, look at this, look at that, go that direction. But I don't think you really have to control. I think once you get to a certain level, if your goodness should just rub up on them. If you're good and mature, you take care of yourself, you go through your day. Yeah, I know. So anyways, there's a Benton County Sheriff Kelly Craddock said that child abusers are monsters. They prey on children. They're starting, it's in Arkansas, Don't Be a Scumbag. It's a campaign to stop child abuse. It is an in-your-face campaign. It's to get people's attention. The victims of child abuse, they're very real. They feel the pain. They feel the anguish, and many times it changes their lives forever. And a lot of times it goes on forever and nobody does anything about it. And in my situation, I wish somebody would have came and rescued me. I wish somebody would have came into my house and said, no, this is not correct. You need to get out. This man's going to hit you, and that is real rage. That's hatred. That's not love. And that hatred will always exist. It will never leave. It will be nothing but violence and pain, abuse, insults constantly. Till today, till this day. I'm 31 years old. February, I'm 31 years old. But three months ago, there's more harassment. More harassment. These motherfucking psychos who beat up their children, they can't stop themselves. They can't stop themselves. And they don't care who they hurt. They will go on and on and on. The goal of violence, of abuse, of torture is death. You don't hurt somebody that you love and you want them to experience love and joy and happiness in this world. You hurt somebody you don't give a shit for. And if you can hurt somebody, then you keep hurting them, and you hurt them again, and you hurt them again, and then till you kill them. Macaulay Culkin. The big lesson I see out of Macaulay Culkin, Michael Jackson and Macaulay Culkin were best friends. Macaulay Culkin was godfather of several of Michael Jackson's children. Macaulay Culkin also was in Michael Jackson's Black and White video. They were friends. They hung out for a while, and they both were beat up as kids. And that was the real connection actually that those two had made, was that they had been beat up by their parents. And Macaulay Culkin had said something about Kit, how there was just something missing there, and how he was trying to live his life through Macaulay's. But basically he was a psycho, and he's hitting his son the whole time. But he had saw Michael Jackson have this big Neverland ranch, and he felt that Michael Jackson kind of imploded on himself. He didn't like, the world he grew up in. He didn't have a childhood. He didn't really like what was going on there, so he created his own world. And his own world was nice. Macaulay Culkin respected it, but he didn't feel like it was real life, that he actually needed to get out with the world and kind of interact with it more instead of isolating yourself into like a Xanadu. William Randolph Hearst had a Xanadu, and I know a lot of people actually that have their own like little farm or their little house in the middle of nowhere. And that's their castle, and I think you do need sort of that type of privacy. So Macaulay Culkin just basically said the difference between him and Michael Jackson kind of imploded on himself, so Macaulay Culkin wanted to be more of an extrovert instead of an introvert. Michael Jackson says he remembers like how Joe would just push his kids into the walls and would laugh at him. He one time scared the crap out of Michael Jackson, like climbing up in the window and scaring the shit out of him. He said he couldn't sleep well for years after that. And he used to pummel him. He used to hit him with a stick. Just hit him on the backside, on the back, on the butt, on the legs, just anywhere he could hit him. He didn't care. And then you had Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye, I think, is a really great lesson, actually. It's Marvin Gaye, the superstar, the singer, right? Mother, mother, why are so many people crying? Father, 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 why are so many people dying? We don't need to escalate. Something only love can conquer hate. Marvin Gaye also Sexual Feeling, and there's Let's Get It On. So the top 10 songs by Marvin Gaye. Let's Get It On. There's Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. And then Sexual Healing. Sexual Healing. And What's Going On? I heard it through the grapevine. Got to give it up. Mercy, mercy me. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Inner City Blues. You're all I need to get by. Pride and Joy. So that's Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye goes back to live in his house. Him and his old man get into an argument about a bill. The daddy was looking for the bill, and he couldn't find the bill, so he goes over to Marvin Gaye, says, so fuck child abuse. Fuck all forms of child abuse. Fuck any type of intimidation, any type of anybody trying to make them bend to your will. Child abuse is bullshit. I went through child abuse. Over 5,000 assaults happened against me while my so-called family watched and laughed. That was their role. And it's something that bothers me today. I'm a 31-year-old man, and it bothers me today. Anyways, so I'm doing this research project on this child abuse and infanticide. There's a lot of pop culture references I didn't get a chance to talk about. So infanticide and pop culture, at least with children's stories. So with children's stories, you have the Pied Piper. There's this. It's sold to us like it's a children's story, but it's actually a true story. It happened in Germany. Some guy comes into town, plays a flute, then all the children are gone. In the modern day tale, he plays the flute and he gets rid of the rats, but the king doesn't pay him the money, or the mayor, whoever doesn't pay him the money, so he takes the children as 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 a reward. If you ain't gonna pay me money for getting rid of your rats of your town, the town of your rats, then I'm gonna take your kids. So who knows what happened to them? If he took them somewhere, killed them all. If he took them somewhere and let them raise families, who knows? So the Pied Piper just comes in and just takes everybody's kids. Hansel and Gretel, Grimm's fairy tale. Hansel and Gretel, the mom says, we don't have any food, we don't have any bread, let's go out in the woods. So you starve to death. So I can eat and you die. You die and I live. That's what Hansel and Gretel. That's what the mom and the Hansel and Gretel. Old woman in a shoe. There's an old woman in a shoe, had so many kids, didn't know what to do. Something about feeding the kids some broth but not bread. Then she gave them 20 lashes and sent them all to bed. So this old woman in a shoe got a bunch of kids, didn't know what to do. So she just beat them all. She just beat them all up. Old woman in a shoe. So many. Oh, it says mother. Nursery rhyme. Mother Goose's nursery rhyme. So, old woman lived in a shoe. So many children didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread. Then she whipped them all soundly and put them to bed. So she whipped them all soundly. So I think I got an aunt actually was an old woman who lived in a shoe. Had so many kids knew what to do just to hit them all, right? So old woman in a shoe saying, hit them all. That's how the old woman, that's how she took care of the kids. Cosette, the 8-year-old girl from Les Miserables, 1848 revolutions. Happened the same time that Karl Marx had wrote his Communist Manifesto, 1848. That's the same time as Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, Les Miserables. And the woman that's on the front, the girl that's on the front, she's 8-year-old Cosette with her hair blowing out to the side. So 8-year-old Cosette, she was a child slave. So this, the story is centered around the times in Paris, France at the time. But Cosette was an 8-year-old girl. So she was a slave to a cruel and fierce master. So Cosette is in pop culture. Hush-a-bye baby, just a song. Hush-a-bye baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bell breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. So that's a good way to put nightmares in your kid's head. Just sing Hush-a-bye baby. Jack and the Beanstalk. It's about, basically a boy becoming a man. He sells the beans like a dummy, and then he goes up and he beats the giant. But the giant's like, I smell the blood of an Englishman, and he's going around wanting to eat all these people, right? So there's sort of he's a kid wanting to eat the kid. So there's elements of it. There's also elements of Cinderella, of infanticide or child abuse in Cinderella and in Snow White. Cinderella, her stepmother and her stepsisters are just abusing her, torturing her, ripping her clothes off, making her slave, making her clean the floors, do all the chores for them. And then you even had Snow White, who runs from her wicked stepmother to the dwarves. So the dwarves are like the kids, they're off to the side, and you got the wicked mother who's trying to kill them. So again, more infanticide. There's a saying, I'm going to beat the dickens out of you. I'm going to beat the dickens out of you. There's one passage in David Copperfield where the boy gets his ass kicked. He just gets beat up. And I would assume beat the dickens out of you is the idea that you think that you're somebody who is more than that. You've read a Charles Dickens novel and you see how kids are being treated, and you're going to try to say that you're better than that. Because, these teachers were hitting these kids up until, I think, corporal punishment. The last couple of decades, they had to get rid of that. So beat the dickens out of you. Please, sir, can I have some more porridge? How dare you even ask me for some more porridge? I'm going to beat the idea of Dickens ever even giving you the notion that you deserve a second bowl of this sludge/porridge. So she whipped all their bums and sent them to bed. The old woman in the shoe beat them all up. There's a different one where it says, thank you, dear Lord Jesus, for sending them bread. Then she kissed them all gently or gladly and sent them to bed.